Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Monster Musume no Iru Nichijou Chapter 58, and also, kind of a bonus at the end, I did my research, puts on nerd glasses, and I think I found out how many, I looked for any of the recurring characters among the farm, and I think I might know exactly how many girls actually live at the farm, judging by the recurring characters and any that I saw that didn't recur. But we shall see. So yeah, we'll talk about that at the end after I review the actual chapter. I know before I said I wasn't, like I said during the reaction, I didn't think I was going to do a review, but then I noticed I did a review for the last one, and I'm like, hell, why break with tradition? It's always good to talk about more Monmusu and give the people that like Monmusu on my channel more to discuss with me. But either way, let's talk about this chapter from the beginning. So Kurus wakes up to this lewd satirist, and I don't know what to call her, but she is like main satirist, lead satirist, queen satirist. Yeah, we need a name for her. Maybe just go Satiro, like the one from Elf-san wa Yasararanai. And if you're not watching Elf-san wa Yasararanai, you really, really should be. It is a Monster Girl manga that is amazing. It is like so funny. So yeah, we have flashback to what happened at the end of last chapter though, with the lewdness in the bath. Miru basically gets molested trying to save Kurus from all this. Kurus runs away, he books it the hell out of there, and it was really, really funny. Because he just, so smoothly, he's gotten used to running away from the lewd. He is just smoothly transitions from towel to boxers and makes it out of there. Cutting away from him though, we get this scene with Rhaenyra that I really, really like actually, where she's gone to work for the president, interviewing potential hosts for extra species girls, and I thought it was hilarious, because they're all discussing what their favorite species are, and that's something we can discuss in the comments too, that I didn't really plan to discuss here, but what's your favorite extra species? Because for me that's difficult, because there's so many different ones with different traits that I don't really know how I could pick a favorite. Like, milking is great, so you want to go for like a milky girl, right? But then also, what about scaly girls like the one guy mentioned that you keep warm, and there is a certain attraction to scaly stuff too. I personally love insect girls, and I guess insect girls probably lay eggs, so that kind of makes harpy or bird girls obsolete. But yeah, so I don't know, like, what is your favorite extra species? To me, there's, like, it's impossible. There are too many to choose. And while I do think a platypus is a mammal that lays eggs, platypuses aren't very attractive creatures, and I don't see a platypus girl being very attractive. So I'm going to take a hard pass on that one and say, no, that doesn't count. So I guess I'm sticking with insect girls as maybe my favorite. But I didn't even think when I talked about in the live reaction. I didn't even think about dryads or plant girls. Plant girls are amazing. Ki is my top waifu. So, I don't know. It's very, very difficult. But either way, back to the chapter. Got a little distracted. Put what you think down in the comments or whatever your favorite is. But the Panfons offer to learn how to do the housework and stuff to save him from the Satiresses. The Panfons, though, there's this one messy-haired Panfon that I really like. She's really cute, but we see more of her. So the Satiresses get all lewd during the chores every time, like when they're sweeping or whatever, or raking, and then the one Satiress is just like pizerying the broom, and they're just giving Kudu sly looks the entire time while they're looting up all the chores. Very funny. So basically, what the lead satyr or whatever, I think it was her, tells Kurus, just teach us milking. Then, just do that. And then her neck, when Marino grabs her by the horns, her poor neck, and she screams at my neck as well. Poor Satyrus, who I still think, I want to get at least one actual... We have, what, 6 developed characters right now that are Minotaurs and 1 developed Panfon character. Give us at least 1 developed Satyrus character. But either way, moving on from that, the Panfons, we get a bunch of milking. Basically, Marino starts out as the milking demonstration, then the spiky-haired Satyrus does it too, and The Pamphons apologize later on in the bath because it was kind of awkward and all that. And they're like, you could just milk us by hand now too. We'll take over the chores so you don't have to do that anymore. Kudus breaks away and runs because he's like, no, everyone is doing this. They're trying to manipulate me, make me stay. And then the main satirist was watching all that from around a corner. So we're going to get some more with her next chapter. And I thought this chapter, the past two I complained a little bit where I was like it was too lewd, too self-insert. This made it all worth it. This actually, it was lewd, but it told a really good story, and it needed the past two. Because the first one we're like, oh, this is lewd, this is everyone's dream. Or the first one we get introduced to it all and we're like, oh, this is lewd. Then the next one we're like, this is taking up his entire day, but who wouldn't want their entire day to be taken up with all this lewdness? And now we hit the third one and we start to see the cracks in it, start to see like, oh, this is too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. Like, this is too much even for Kudus, and he's trying to get out of there. So I like that, how we're seeing how it becomes too much and how it's almost like a horror story of tits. And I like, too, that it was development for Rhaenyra and what she was doing in her side of the story, taking care of the debt, but also this development for the farm not needing Kudus as much anymore, which makes me think, that's how this arc can end. Whereas last chapter I was like, how does this arc end? I would assume that Mia and Rhaenyra and all them show up angry at what Kudus is doing, tear him away from the farm and whatever. But how does the farm go on without him if he's playing such an integral part right now with cooking and cleaning and milking and all that? But now that's all kind of been handled. We see that Rhaenyra is probably going to pay the debt off so that the president doesn't have a reason to keep him there anymore. And now that the Pamphon have learned to do the chores for themselves, and the satirists may have learned to milk everyone by hand, and that may get out some of their lewdness so that they aren't as horny all the time. But who knows? Who knows how satirists work? So yeah, now that they can take over Kudus's job there, he has an out. The farm can survive without him. And I also respect this chapter a lot because Okayado, to make this chapter, this was long. This was like damn near 40 pages, wasn't it? And the art was all really on point. So not only did he have to draw tits like everybody was like, yes, Okayada's saying he still draws boobs and all, he had to draw a lot. He had to draw a whole hell of a lot of art to give us this chapter. So I don't know. For the chapter as a whole, though, I thought it was lewd, but I thought they actually told a really good story with it, so I'll give it 8.5 milkings out of 10. Satirist Chen. So yeah, now for the farm roster. Let's talk about this. I think I have figured this out. So, by my estimations, including Cathal and Marino, who I guess we can just assume are staying at this farm now. Maybe they go back to the other farm, I don't know. I believe I have found 3, 4... I think I found 13 Minotaurs, maybe 14. 13 to 14 Minotaurs, 9 Satirists, and 10 Pamphons. So let's go through these, because I looked through to see if any were recurring and say, okay, this is a different one, this is a new one, let's see what other chapters and what other panels she shows up in. And I found that all of them, except I'm not counting the ones that were in Kudus's fantasy about what the place was like, because I didn't see any of them show up again, and also that was just in Kudus's fantasy, so we can just assume that they aren't real characters. So starting with the Minotaurs, there are 13 that I saw, and a 14th one that is only shown once. Now there might be more of any of these three that I didn't even notice. So what's that? 13 plus 9 plus 10, quick maths. That'd be 32, right? Or 33 if we count that 14th Minotaur, right? Sorry, yeah, that's it. Sorry, it's 32. I was like, oh man, if my math is wrong and I look stupid on video. So yeah, 32 and 33 if we're counting that 14th that we only see once. But or I could be confusing it for another, and maybe there are only 13. But either way, the 13 Minotaur that I saw were Cathal, Miru, Lute, Chizu, Cream, and Kara, the ones we already know and have seen. Then there's one with emo hair, one with long side-swept bangs, one that has short hair and these horns that like go forward, like from the sides of her head they go forward, One that like has this really shy face and long bangs that I'm not sure if they cover her eyes, but they almost like partially cover it. So she's sort of similar to Lute, but not as big, you know. There was one with dark skin and short hair, one with spiky bangs and these wide horns like steer. I guess Kara has horns that are wide too, like steer horns that go straight out like that. There was one like that. And then one with like tiny small horns and one like center lock of hair going down the middle of her face. And I think that was all 13 that I named. And then there's one that we see once during one of the scenes when they're all eating in that room. And she has dark skin and straight cut bangs across her forehead. And I think that's the only, unless we see her again from behind and I was just confusing her for one of the other dark-skinned Minotaur, I think that's the only time that we see that particular one. So 13 to 14 Minotaurs. For the goats, for the Satyresses, we have the one leader goat that we see, and then there's one with twin tails that we see multiple times, one with the middle part, one with poppy hair that we see a lot, and she has kind of like long side locks in addition to having poppy hair as far as the bangs and back look. Then there's another one with, the only thing I could really distinguish about her that changes her, that like distinguishes her from any of the others, is she had like really, really long dangling side locks. One that has like the back of her hair was kind of like shaved really short, and she had straight horns, which was like, she had horns that went straight back, like she didn't have curved ones or anything like some of the Satyresses did. Then there was one with the horns that curved downward, and her, like they curved down and then back forward, and she had spiky hair. There was one with horns that curved down, and she had straight bangs across her forehead. And then one with, and she had like the back of her hair was long and it was cut straight too. We see her in the 2 bath scenes, I think. And then lastly, there was one, what did I even write here? Oh, she has like the again, the emo hair with the bangs covering up one eye. We see her twice. So, yeah. Then for the Panfawn or the sheep, we saw 10 of them. There's Merino, one with like side locks that curve around her chin, kind of. One with like, I called it a fancy middle part in my notes, like her hair's parted down the middle, but it's like parted up and over. And we see her a lot. She's usually with Merino. And then the other 2 we usually see with Merino, there's one with really spiky hair that's a little bit longer, but still only about like shoulder lengthish, and one with hair that's a little bit shorter than her, but I distinguished her from the spiky one because her hair isn't really spiky, it's more messy. And I think the messy haired one was the one I really liked, and I'm not sure which one got milked second. I don't know if that was the spiky one or the messy one. I think it was the spiky one though. There was another one that had long hair and long side locks. One that had like a hime cut that you see in anime a lot. One that had long bangs that completely covered over her eyes so you couldn't see her eyes. One with a ponytail, and one with like these spiky pigtails and straight bangs. So yes, we now know all the girls that live at the farm, assuming. And if this is the way that Oda did it, and it is a certain amount of characters that he just didn't really name or anything, but he just drew the same characters to keep that consistency, that's amazing consistency, and I love that he did that. Of course, though, I may have missed some. So by my counts, there are 32 or 33, but I might have missed some. And I double-checked enough to know that we saw all of them more than once, whether it was 2 times or whether it was a lot of times, like the twin tail Satyrs that's always with the head one, or the spiky and messy hair, and the the fancy bangs Pamphons that were with Merino a lot. So either we saw him a lot, or we saw him at least twice, but except for that one that we only see once. But like I said, I could be getting her confused. Maybe we did see her in another panel just from behind, and I thought it was one of the other dark-skinned Minotaurs, so who knows. So yeah, I did my research on that one. I studied it. So yeah, guess that's it. If you like the video, then like the video. Comment down there to tell me what you think of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. What are your favorite Monster Girl types, extra species, I guess, since I did bring that up during the video. And also, do you want more of these girls to get names and become actual characters? Because I kind of want Oda to do that. Or, not Oda, Okayato. Oh my god. I get confused because I cover so many manga. I think about it all the time. When I'm doing One Piece, when I'm doing this, when I'm doing Elf Samba Yasararanai, even when I'm doing Tower of God, I'm like, oh, and especially Boku no Hero Academia, where Horikoshi, for some reason, to me, I blink on his name all the time. And I'm always like, I know, like, I've never caught myself doing it before like this, but I've always thought to myself, I'm like, I'm sure that I've messed up authors' names before and looked really stupid. But I've never caught myself before. But I'm sure I have, because it's keeping all these series and who the person is that actually writes them separate. It's difficult. But yeah, Okayato, I think he should do kind of like what he did with Lute and Kara and all them, where even if it's just a brief, hey, this is a character, this is kind of what she's like, basic, generic personality, whatever. I think he should do that for at least a couple of the Panphon or a couple of the Satirists. Don't know if he actually will, except for the main satirist. I could totally see her getting like a character page or something. But yeah, other than that, I guess I said like and comment, subscribe for more. Monster Musume no Iru Nichijou, much more on the channel, plenty of Monster Girl stuff. Your boy loves Monster Girls. Like I said, I'm covering Elf Samba Yasararanai, which you should totally read and then watch my videos on it. But in addition to that, I'm thinking about maybe reviewing Creature's Family Days or Uma Musume this season, but I'm not sure. I'm going to be watching them for sure, and we can talk about them and discuss them in the hot Q&A and in the comments, but I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing them or not. Uma Musume, though, horse girls, please. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk with me or more of us there, then just ask and I can give you a link to that. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.